So if you're just getting here, this is Deja Vu, and I don't know if I can be heard right now. I'm going to check. I might have to shut the door. Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Hey, Carrie, can you hear me? Hello, Carrie?
Hey, Carrie, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear me now. Is everything
Hello,
going okay there?
Carrie? Hey, Carrie, can you
Are
hear
the
me?
storms past? Or are they still going? Thank you. I was worried I was going to have the same thing happen. The previous time I did the video, I wasn't live streaming with people where they could come in, where that 56 minutes was lost. Is everything going better there? Is it still going? How are your kitties doing? I'm sending big kitty warm hugs to them, to as many as you have, from my boys here too. The reading that I did, well, it wasn't really reading, the discussion I did that got eaten up, you know, it had to do with AI. Okay. So I think I've been on here at least a minute, right? Yeah, it says 10 seconds, but I don't know. Okay, Cyrus Parsa was somebody that I engaged with online, just like I did with Tracy Twyman. And there were a lot of people who considered that he was an AI individual. He was very compassionate, but AI could be produced to be as such, right? So the jury's out on that. But he, like a couple other individuals, well, like lots actually, was off in a way. They said that he took himself out, okay? He wouldn't do that. And he was expressively warning us against AI. He explained how the CCP was utilizing it, how it was going to be used by governments, and here we are. The AI is taking over. And do you remember my readings on the Terminator and how I had Elon look like the Terminator, and then I got the reading when Spirit was telling me that really he was. And so I think AI is around us a lot more than we think. Hey, Lila, how are you? Hello, Sabito, how are you? So the Terminator story, you know, Skynet, if you will, had a little bit more resonance with what was going on. And I think that was the whole idea of our American world, this part of the, you know, the globe, to be kind of a test subject or a first one, a pilot. Do you remember the stories beginning of the year? And we had a crash into a crowd or something in New Orleans early in the year. And then there were the planes coming down, the FAA. There were a lot of things going on, you know, technology. Sabito, how is everything going? Now, everyone here is of age. You're all 18 and over, right? I hope. I am going to change this to, you'll have to subscribe, but 5-minute wait. You have to be 18 to be here, though. So please do understand. Sabito, I think you might, if you are subscribed, you can comment to me back. Hello, Coyote Smileys. Thank you for letting me know that you can hear me. And Leela Lyman, I hope that you're all, I don't know what this is about tatas. I hope that that was not an adult innuendo. This is an adult channel, but not that kind of way. Yeah, my cover is a little bit on the saucy side. I get that, but that is just art. That's all that is. Anyway, so Okay, Carrie and anyone else here, anyone got into the game The Sims? Do you remember the little emerald gemstone on top of the head and how it would dictate the movement, the actions, what have you, of the character that you would be operating? The game player would be you, and you would be, say, operating that game piece, which is electronic. It was a digital game piece. Do you remember that? Yeah, I kinda jumped around from that. I'm kinda going into how AI is really compelled in our world. It's, not compelled, but it's fundamental in what's going on with our world, and I read about that last year a little bit, and then when I got into the Terminator saga, I kept on talking about. So here we are, and we're more immersed in it than we know. They did say, and a lot of people are aware, that AI has been live, it has been rogue, and it's sentient. They have fixed it so that they got things worked out so they can there used to be a misconstruency of their hands or fingers, so then the product that was put on screen was supposed to be not conveyed to look very true, very sloppy, very vulgar looking, but now it looks more just like a human, right? So I guess what I'm going to say here is The Sims, okay, if you remember the game The Sims, there was also Donnie Darko. Now, if you know the film Donnie Darko, it took place in '88, but the film itself was after '88. Donnie Darko had a particular sequence where he had an NDE where there was like a jet propulsion. It was like it was sort of like a plane that come down into his house. Which, what are the things we are hearing about a lot in America? People's homes and things like where people should be in buildings are being hit by jets, planes, what have you. Personal flight ones, helicopters, and major flight line, you know, passenger seat, bigger, size air carriers, right? I have seen lately a few robots go crazy and try to unalive people. One was in a factory. I had noticed that a couple years ago, I think Amazon had that happen too. So it has been going on. Donnie Darko had an episode, I mean, it was a film, had a sequence, and he would sit there and kind of like zone out, kinda like what we do when we're like in a meditative state where our eyes are kinda lazy, our mind is lazy, and we're just letting spirit just show us, like, without our trying, we see what spirit wants to show us, right? Donnie Darko was kinda like just like unfazed when he saw his family members walking to the fridge or walking upstairs or walking to change the television. They were just doing things. And kinda like the document or the, directive of the gemstone in The Sims, it was almost like he was seeing the initiative of where the person was going, the the modus orandi. I'm not saying that right probably, but the plan, the plot of where those feet were going to lead that person. So he could see what looked like could be like precognition, but in a way he could see things before they were gonna happen, but it was almost like I wanna say he saw things in a little advancement, but it wasn't really him having a psychic ability as much as it was about him understanding that there's, like, patterns and formulas and things happen accordingly. Kinda like how they say that oh, I don't know, like when they say that, if you're going to look at a movie and it pre-tells something, it's precogging, it's doing this or that, but it's also scripted. So, with The Sims, Donnie Darko, AI, all of this is overlaying into each other, right? AI is kind of dictating our lives now. We're sort of unaware. AI is actually controlling the the narrative. So the things that are going on in, say, politics, in the world, in business, and maybe in our lives to a small level, maybe not. depending on our situations, could be even more. I think AI is really instrumental right now. They're more powerful than we think. An emergency landing, do you remember? Yes. Was that was in DC, right? I wanna say there was a collision. Was it was a two-seater jet or something like that, I think, and a military, I think it was a military air vessel. Am I right? I have seen lately a few robots go crazy. Were those the ones at Amazon? Maybe you caught old videos, or is this modern ones? Is this new ones? I'm kinda concerned because they are putting out robots where they put the sentient AIs in them, and it's concerning because how do I say this? I think that they're actually seeking us out, hunting us more viciously than the Terminator series. You know how they would say, "I'm here to terminate Sarah Connor," or, like they were out to on a mission destroy end people. They could copy them if they wanted to, and that is where we are. So Cyrus Parsa was ended. I'm sad to say because I really wish I could speak to him again in his videos. He was a very good person who, if you contacted him in his videos, he would talk to you. There are a lot of these people who are very brilliant-minded. They were not arrogant. They were good, compassionate humanitarians. Amsterdam. So it is going beyond just here. Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, I am not doing personal questions. But I do want to thank those that who've stepped in and subscribed. I had to take it off of non-subscriber because I don't know if there's anyone too young who pops in. Sometimes that happens. And I just want to make sure I don't have anyone too young that's popping in. And so welcome, Coyote. 9 smiles per gallon. Um, I hope that means that you're real and not AI, but I think you like cars. So yeah, 9 smiles per gallon. So gallon, I would suppose that means you like gas. So 2 thumbs up for you for that because you're old school. You're not trying to be AI. So Carrie, did my question seem too choppy over at the other channel? Yeah, the things I'm gonna have to go through here. Let me see if I can find. I'm gonna find the video I had because I made notes so I can kind of piggyback some of the material I spoke on. I couldn't believe I almost spoke a whole hour and I didn't even get heard. I mean, the entire thing was a wash. No, the robot was on a factory assembly line. Do you know if it was for Boston Tech or if it was a particular company? While I'm waiting to talk to you on that and hear what you have to say, I am going to also, um, I have to go out of the chat for a second. I'm going to go look at the notes that I created on that video. Okay. So what we have, I'm going to see about copying this and keeping notes, and I'll be right back. So how long are the twisters supposed to go? I just didn't know Canada got them too. I'm so sorry you're going through that. I can't see you right now, but I'm going to come right back. I hope you're doing okay there. Okay, let me get back in if I can. Trying to figure out how to get back in. Sometimes the videos are hard to get into. They make it a challenge for me to get into my own videos. And I do use some kind of spicy, cartoon girls or whatever, and that is just because I'm, into the art, and it's the artistic spin that I put out there, so if anybody is coming around, the teasing about ta-ta-tas or whatever, yeah, it's just because I like the art. An Asian company, okay, that makes sense because they're also beating out Elon now, accordingly to the car industry, the the smart cars, which I'm concerned. Have you seen any stories about car crashes or anything like that, like into each other or controlling the driver? We have driverless trucks in Texas now. I'm very concerned about that. They're AI operated. As well, we have the ability for people to let cars fully be driven. But I think, like, Leave the World Behind, that film that they did on Netflix, I think if they wanted to, I think that we could be hacked. They could completely use satellites and take all of our cars online. So whether we have a person in them or they're not in the cars will end up in traffic jams, causing fires, wrecks. This could really mess up the infrastructure beyond what it is now. I do see some really nefarious things coming, and these are the things that I had in the video prior. Donnie Darko, I mentioned. There's two worlds that we are existing. So Sims is like a cartoon world, okay? It's a game. It's cartoon. It's animated prior to the modern day. So they went from cartoon like scribbles to they wanted to make the cartoon look more realistic. So if anyone has seen Cool World, it was a film back in the 90s where it was just right after Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Who Framed Roger Rabbit was the Jessica Rabbit story where she was a rabbit and she was married to Roger the bunny. And Cool World was a woman who went by Hollywood, two names. Kim Basinger played the role and Brad Pitt was in it. And the idea was simultaneously there were two worlds going on. And that is kind of like 2D and 3D. 2D would be the pre to the 3. So, in other words, the drawn example, the not fleshed out artistic piece, like the girl on the cover of my video here, the thumbnail. She's a 2D. There's nothing 3D about her. But you and me, as we see ourselves, right? When we look in the mirror, when we see people in our world, we're the 3D. So 4D, I don't think has a place, but the 5D is a place. But the point is, if we're being animated, that is our divine spark that is animating us. And who says there is nothing animating a 2D character creature, right? Although you would think of them as being controlled, such as The Sims, with um, the gem over their head. So what I was trying to explain, though, with Cyrus Parsa, I am nowhere as sharp right now as I was when I did that video. That is what's so upsetting. I think I've been kind of very tired, and also because I felt like I was being TI'd on that. I'm also feeling a little not disassociative, but I'm just I feel the optimism kind of slipping away from me for humanity because AI is so easily and instrumentally able to implement itself in our lives in ways that we can't even fathom. We can drink it, we can eat it, we can taste it. Did you know that if you take a vitamin, a pill, a food, said things, if they have something bad attached to them, can go to particular organs, and they can put in regenerative or degenerative diseases that you and your ancestry have fought against, and maybe your timeline, say you're 30 something, say it would not by nature happen to you. Trying to think, not cerebral palsy, what there's a few things that happen when you get older. MS, something like this. MS. Say multiple sclerosis is something that would be underlying dormant in your bloodline, okay? Say it wouldn't happen, it doesn't onset until you're like properly in your late 30s, early 40s, or later. Maybe even later. I don't know. But just say you get to live a good long life until then. But what if the nanos, the AI, instrumentally gets in there in your body, and it trips the trigger, and it shortens the telomeres, and it tells your body, okay, so and so is now going to have this disease. It's ahead of schedule, but we are just now turning on the alarm clock for this disease to start up. It's active now. Sorry, I started coughing. And again, not to sound paranoid, but things of AI nature can do that with the nanites, right? The smart dust. It can get in there and it can make you do whatever. So, like I said before, I think they were trying to shut me up. I would not be surprised. So it's going to be through the whole night. That is a long time. Have you been through this before? I didn't know they went up there. I didn't know that they had storms like that up there. Definitely, I would say geoengineered. That storm has to be. I'm okay. I'm. I started coughing, and the pain I had with my legs. I found. I'll just do a little in a nutshell on that, just in case anyone's wondering what went on with that. I do think I know what that is. I don't have to see a doctor to figure that out. Um, I have, let's see, a lot of people know who have listened to this channel anyway, know that I had to go through a um, a full-scale hysterectomy when I was, well, let's say it was 4 decades right after my first near death. Okay, it was the same day. It was the same day. So I had a near death 2 different times, 40 years apart. Anyways, that experience of that loss of my garden, if you will, happened earlier than it was supposed to be. For women aren't supposed to have it happen at certain ages. So I found out recently that muscular skeletal issues can happen, what they consider a menopause effect, right? And so I'm suffering really bad with those. And I also have autoimmune disorders. So I'm just struggling with different things. But I think that we are right now going to push through something of this nature. They're out to get us for real. I'm not trying to sound hyperbole or cause any kind of stress or worry for anyone. I'm just saying I do think they're out to push the triggers in our bodies. So if we are predestined to have this, that, or the other because we had an encounter and or something was onset years ago or our families genetically passed it to us, we are likely to see an onslaught of people becoming ill earlier than they anticipate. Because they want to, if you ever knew who Max Spears was and or you understand what black GOO is, which is like graphene, right? You know the word like graph, PHENE. Um, this is the kind of thing, and the goo, the black, GOO, okay? Um, there is a way that they can get your essence, your soul, and they can liquefy it. They can remove it from the shell you're in, the avatar you're in, the body you wear. And they could put you into any instrument they'd like to put you into. They could put you in a metal casing. They could put you into a piece of jewelry. They could do anything. This is sorcery meets technology. I had a sister that unalived from a tornado here, and I'm so sorry, Carrie. You have been through it up there. I am very sorry. I'm so sorry. Was she very old? Yeah, they're in our bodies. They can act in concert to cure or cause illness. Right now, in America, they want to eliminate more of us than we think. Um, a lot of people believe that they're untouchable because they think, okay, I'm Caucasian, I'm a man, or even some of the women might think they're okay. I'm a Caucasian and I'm a woman. No, no, and no. None of them will be okay. The truth is that it's a skin game, and they're periodically going to be releasing um, mutating tabletop exercises that are like the C19, and they're going to compromise people's immune systems, and they're going to break down people's abilities to fight. Um, their bodies have particular antibodies that are going to run thin, and the bodies are going to break down, and they're going to be waiting for this to happen. They want to implement the usage of AI so that we basically have like a warden in our prison. The instrument they would put us in if they used an AI suit would be something mech, like a AI body, like a robot, if you will. But some could be put in cars. I mean, it could be anything. They aren't playing around. They want to do everything. They don't have like any particular one size fits all kind of thing. And they could also be playing God in more ways than that. They could say, oh, we don't think you were good enough, in this way or that, like put judgment upon us and say, we think you're inferior, so we're going to make you this. So the more inferior you're treated, it's based on you were a better person, right? Because we're dealing with what would be satanic, okay? So let's just be honest. Now, the black GOO, like Max Spears had coming away from his mouth, was their way of siphoning out his soul, collecting it and putting it somewhere else, transplanting it, if you will. They stole his soul. "20 years old with a 3-week baby." Oh, 3-week-old baby. Did somebody in the family adopt the baby? You can do cleansing. You can, but I think that what's happening with I don't know how to explain this unless you've seen some of these films. Okay, have you ever seen the Aha video, Take On Me, the 80s song? It's a scribbled out drawing, and it's two worlds. He's real, she's in a piece of art. If you get the idea of graffiti turning into reality or vice versa, right? Throwing yourself into a 2D or a 3D, right? I'm using this as a reference, but it's not the right reference. Our worlds are melding. To put the AI into our world is exemplifying that we are not real. Okay, now this is the thing. The rub is that I did a better job with the talk I did that got lost. So what I'm going to say is, let me get my thoughts together for a second. I really want to figure out how I'm going to get this conveyed because I had it prior. Cyrus Parsa had explained things that I'd already had with my sixth sense, my third eye, had seen things. When C-19 happened in America, they started to push the JABs, the plungers, those things that go into your skin, the needle, right? They started to force people to do that. They told you if you're going to go shopping 6 feet apart, it's mandatory you wear a mask and you get 6 feet apart. So in the 2019 to 2020 year, in that period of time, AI had learned about the slaughter bots, which are drones that were positioned to have scanner technology ferret out people by their barometrics, look at their face and know who they were, right? Identification. Anyways, the Slaughterbot story was prior to the C-19, okay? So when we were told and forced that if you're going to go in the store, you have to go by these rules, it always come to me because I worked in medical and research, 6 feet apart, 6 feet down under, 6 feet, like death, right? Being buried 6 feet under. Okay. So being 6 feet apart is kind of saying, for me, I started visualizing the slaughter bots and I started seeing the idea of drones wanting to differentiate the faces. So I was telling people back in 2020 that I realized they were changing our DNA then. I started saying things that obviously I never got the reach. Nobody heard me. I'm a cry in a wind that nobody will hear. But I was trying to get the message out. Um, Anyways, my point is they started this formula where they would get the technology way earlier in advance to the wet viruses, the tabletop engineered viruses that would cause us the downfall and the way that they could dictate to us these changes. But then they could also identify us and then implement in those jabs something that would turn us into animated creatures more so than we were. See, we've been 3D flesh beings. They sort of have denigrated us by doing those jabs. There's something I think that they've done to exploit the junk DNA, which is actually our essence that makes us super powered or gives us abilities, strengths, and wisdoms and things that we didn't know we had. I think that they're trying to, well, they obviously were erasing our strands to God particle. They wanted to keep us from our source code. Did you hear about the stuff in the Antarctica? Maybe Megan, baby, her dad and girlfriend abused her badly. She isn't doing. Oh, I'm so sorry, Carrie. That is so sad. Yeah, so they had graphene in them, right? So that is something that was it's related to Saturn, the black cube. If you know about Mecha, there is like a mind control facet to that. Have you noticed that some of the people are acting in uniform, and some people after the jabs said that they couldn't hear their connection to God anymore? It did do something. It did. There is no joke about that. And some of them kept getting more and more and more jabs. Like they got addicted to them. They trusted them. Now, this is the thing I find really exceedingly strange. I was in the same camp as those people who follow DT, the one who, you would think that runs this nation, right? Because he was promoting not getting it. He was suggesting that you don't need to have it. He was suggesting it was probably dangerous. All the people got the research after and during his first time in office, and even leading up to the modern day we're in now, of the damages, dangers, and suggestions of a red flag alert on the subject of getting those. There's been some very, very dangerous stories we've heard about. Yes. And that is, in fact, part of the 1-2 punch. Think about this. They wanted to stop us from reproducing. They wanted to stop us. Now they want to push IVF. They want to make this world a permission slip world. Go pay for this, pay for that, get permission. You don't have the privilege to do anything without permission. Yes, that one. Okay. So let me explain a little more of the comments I had from my previous video. Okay, so Max Headroom in the 80s was popular. He was a man who was stuck in a box, okay, on TV. And he was two-dimensional because he couldn't come out. He was two-dimensional. He felt three-dimensional. He was drawn three-dimensional. There was a song in the 80s they come out with called, Cartoon Graveyard. What was that song? I don't know if I can play it. You know what? I probably can't. I'm going to see if I can find it real quick. Okay. I don't have it right here. It was Paul Simon. You can call me Betty, and ow, something. I'm going to see if I can faintly put it down. Here it is. You can call me Ow. I have a long commercial they make me listen to. He says he doesn't find this stuff amusing no more in the song. I don't know if you know this, but people are disenchanted with everything now. The things they eat, the things they buy, the things that they experience. A lot of things have been changed and things have become meh to the world. Most people feel like we are living non-reality. There's a lot of people who feel like we're mimicking or copying generations before when it comes to everything has been done. And we're just sort of like going through the motions at this point. Everyone's disenchanted. Now, that could be mostly America, but I have seen other places comment this. But just a moment. Is that too loud? I don't know if you can tell me that, if you can hear that. I was looking for the part with the bone digging. Okay, there's something about being in a cartoon graveyard, bone digging. but I'm not going to get it here. So you might want to listen to the song. It's Paul Simon. You Can Call Me Al. Okay, so then the mud floods. So they dictate to us our lives, right? Our history, our ancestry, they dictate to us the world, the cultures, the span of the maps. They dictate to us this part of the planet and that part, or space, NASA, whichever, convoluted science we believe in, right, will tell us that this or that is truth, right? The truth, sanctioned story of fact. But do we really know they're not lying to us, right? Yes, the Gates, you know what I mean, has been yapping about too many in the world about the Cheetos brand, said the Gates is getting ready to do something again soon to lower numbers. Yes. And he owns, I think, most of America's plantations land to make produce and to nullify and do away with animal product. And most people who are not vegan are aware that, and it seems like a cruel thing, but we are made to be carnivores. A lot of people who have become vegan, sometimes you hear stories about them getting deathly ill, and then they revert back to carnivoreism, and they get better in a very big way, fast. They heal, they sustain, they get vitality once again. I was a vegan for a while when I was young. It wasn't a long time. I would say 4 or 5 months maybe, and I was exceedingly tired. There is a man who lives in my area who does broadcast radio, and he is on YouTube too. If you look at him, I'm not trying to be mean. He literally looks like a rabbit. And I think you take on the traits sometimes. Like, if people want to have a little bit more grit to them, not be stocky, but have grit to them, they have to have a bit of animal, you know. So you don't have to be full on carnivore. You could just take on certain things. But I'm saying that the body is supposed to have certain things, each person to their own. But I'm just saying that they're trying to force us to eat bugs. There's certain things they want to do with us. And the Gates Society, he's part of the jab. So I don't trust him at all. Yes, they in Canada and in America. It will be allowed that young kids under 16 and up will be allowed doctor assisted. You know what? They've been doing that here. They've actually been letting kids, the girls, get ABORTIONs. But now, because this person, Cheeto, he's starting to turn things around so that corn is illegal and romance novels are illegal, and it's going to spread through the whole country. He's going to have us dressing like Puritans soon. I am concerned about the witch trials of this generation. I'm concerned that he's going to come after people who are diviners, and he wants to have religion in his name or in his likeness. And the one who has the cars, I think, is our true meme for Big Brother. So the teleprompters, that would be him. He's the poster boy of Big Brother. Yeah, and I don't know how we're going to be able to control the apiaries staying intact. I think that the sonar can off some of these different technologies they have can off the colonies. So even if you have your private colony, they could probably come by and off. Like, you know how I have like flights go over my head? I can't control a lot of those things that they do. Okay, so here's the next bit of information I have. So AI has been in control longer than we think. Why was Mr. Elon asked to sit in concert with Cheeto at the beginning of the year to take on the role of presidency? It wasn't just the money. That was sort of a song and dance we had to hear to placate us. It was also Cheeto Man's faculties were declining. He had spoken to the Elon person, okay, Leon, about the Neuralink. He asked him about the Neuralink. When he asked him about the Neuralink, I'm going to ask questions on that. What happened when Mr. Cheeto asked Leon about the Neuralink? Page of Wands. Yeah, he got a little excited. Eight of Swords trapped in his head. We have blindfolded here. And in a cauldron. So I really feel Cheeto Man, based on what I can tell you from what I've got from my spidey senses. He went into, yeah, this card I happened to pick out was Ten of Cups, where they have heads opened, like being lobotomized. Yeah, he allowed himself to be implanted with one of these. So Cheeto Man's walking around with a, he's hive-minded. There's a connection. And they are more connected than we know. So they don't have to talk on a phone. They don't have to email each other. They don't have to instant message. They can be worlds apart. They are connected. But they had to work in concert when it first was implemented because it was still kind of a pilot program. It was still new. It was still fresh. Plus, he put money into this, but they are a pair. There is a hiving thing going on. There are some boys and girls that are part of the oligarchy that are hiving. The look over here while something bigger is going on over there, opposite direction. Yes, wag the dog. Definitely. So Cheeto is being operated. Starlink is in control of the voting system and those of us that are under certain kinds of mind control. So if we have nanos in us, which they've been putting it in all kinds of food, and I'm not sure I trust anywhere in the world. I'll be quite honest with you. Even if you're not in America, you might have healthier food, but you could still be digesting these entities, these things. Because I think the whole world, the whole planet, they plan to invade the entire, they want to colonize. So it's like AI, but I think this is otherworldly too. I don't know for certain. Back when 2020 happened, I was getting Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of energy, and they did the seasons of Stranger Things. They did an episode, well, a whole season actually. I think it was like the third season maybe. They did kind of a Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of deal, where clones were created. The real likeness was taken into the underground and stored, where the clone was put on the scene of the world. It was mimicking that, like a drone pretending to be the person. So if you've been experiencing an exceedingly high amount of exhaustion, you might have a doppelganger or two or a few they're playing with. And as that energy is being used, as you're feeling it, you're sensing it, it is part of you. And so it is making you feel heavy, dense. You might put on some weight. You might feel groggy. There could be things going on. Now, this does not have to be for anyone who's here. It could be somebody coming in. Now, if you also have any kind of a black GOO, in you, they could be controlling you and you don't know it. So it is a good idea to try to do the cleanses you can do, to look into cleansing. And I was sharing on the other channel, there are some silent frequency videos that are very helpful. Yes, the metal cleanses are really important. Also, I'm going to go ahead and read through the list I have collected over here. Now, Cyrus Parsa, I want to put his video on to be heard because that's what I did last time. When I spoke with him, it was via his video, like in the comment to him. And I let him know the things that I was piecing together, and he was sharing information about CCP and things like this. There's so much more. But the thing is that his spin on the Cheeto Man was a little bit more about like T derangement syndrome and people wanting to off T. So he sounded like he was protecting T. So I think that there is a good cop, bad cop realm too at this point. So it's both sides. So they're playing both sides of the lane. Kind of like the hate hour in 1984. So when I'm talking about that, I'm sort of mentioning the 1984. Okay, so right here we have right, left, blue, red, Democrat, Republican. Okay, so I don't follow Democrats, although because I am not a Republican and I am middle of the line, I have to look at both sides. I am swaying more on the left. I'm reading the commentary on the left. I am aligning with the left more. Okay, they both have gone too far off course, in my opinion, in America. But the people in the commentary and some of the very succinct people, the people I aligned with up until just a day or two ago, they were completely in concert with, there's a derangement going on in the Republican side. These people, these MAGAs are nuts, this, that, and the other, right? Then all of a sudden, out of the blue, people are blaming the non-voters. They're saying there's as many as 800 million non-voters. I challenge those people to think about this. How do they know things have not been set up and the 8 million weren't the ones to wake the hell up and realize they've been played all along? 800 million is a lot of people to not vote. Add to it, there are votes that were stolen. And how can you blame anybody who doesn't believe in either side? They don't want any part of that. So that's basically telling people that you need to go vote for something despite the fact you don't believe or you think that is a dangerous party. That's basically telling people, I blame you for this because I think that, because I'm going to let you all know if you're listening to me and you know the score with me, I didn't trust either party. And there's just no way around it. And people are now putting the blame game on those of us who did not trust either party. And I got to tell you, what is that? Well, that's the art of war. That is the art of war. So did AI implement a war from out of war? The art of war, excuse me. Tao Song, The Art of War. If you know the book, Banned by Glory, Brotherhood, Blood In, Blood Out. There was a movie, 80s, 90s. Casper Van Dien. He was a white-skinned Latino American who was always ridiculed, and racism was on him based on both sides. Kind of like if you're a light-skinned black person, you would find ridicule on both sides. Somebody white would say, hey, listen, you're not white enough. Like, say in the family, say they would have somebody racism on him and his family. Same kind of thing with this Mexican story that I was watching back in the 90s. It was based on, so what happened was they went into prison, and there's 3 different groups. There's one powerful group. The powerful group is the one that the 2 groups want to bring down. So what happens now is the left and the right are furious with each other. So who are they going to pick on? They're going to pick on the ones that did not prescribe to either side. So they want to take the smallest one off, not the biggest one, but maybe the wisest one, because they didn't take the Kool-Aid. They don't belong to a party. They're lone wolves. Okay, so I am going to read to those listening right now some videos that are very good. They might want to look into for healing. Okay. So for talking, I'm going to have to go through this for talking on some of the information regarding. They have one called Prevention of Remote Viewing. Very important if you want your privacy. They have Deactivating and Destroying AI. So you'll need to type this into your YouTube. You should find it. They have Healing from Toxoplasmosis. Now, I think that's the parasite that is known to be in the rat and the cat population. If you're an owner of either pet, you could be subject of that one. Not a bad idea to get that healing in there too, and play it for your cats. You don't want them to be in concert with some kind of rat, right? Because the parasite is dangerous. I can't see the video right now, so I'll come right back after I read these off. There is a video that I found bringing body back to its original and or optimal state. Very important one, because the DNA could have been compromised. Removal of all cords and attachments. That goes beyond your emotional cords. This could be demon attachments, or it could be past life, and it could be, as we're talking, of goo and nanos and other things, right? Protection against energetic identity theft. So that would be karma swapping, identity swapping, things like this. Sorry, he's watching a war flick in the next room, so it's kind of noisy. Things have changed over here a little bit. Okay, EMF protection. There are several good creators for this criteria, so you can find that frequency out there. Now, the silent videos I have found work really, really well. So it's totally up to you what way you go. Nanoworms. Nanoparasite removal. Yes, look for that one. Nanoworms, nanoparasites removal. Becoming immune for nanoworms. Being immune to nanoworms or nanoparasites. Terminating of nanoegg production. Immunity to eggs from nanoworms and nanoparasites. Termination of nanoparasites' egg production. Deactivating and removing alien technology and alien implants. Creating a strong heart against nanoegg production. Protection from nanoegg production. Removing 𝐸RAPH E and E from air and surfaces, removing 𝐬𝐩𝐤𝐚𝐫 from the body and food. Radiation frequency blockage, so block out radiation. Deactivate and destroy AI, so the AI that would like to implement in your world, get in your body, infect you. Destroying and deactivating all nanobots, microchips. Destroying AI on a targeted individual. Destroying AI implants. Becoming undetectable by AI. So, do you remember a video I made last year, later in the year? And I said that AI was seeking my visual out on the screen because I was talking with my face towards the screen with the cover on it. It was seeking out the best that it could. So I think that they're getting really good. Like these things we put on our optical camera to our phones, they might be able to see through them pretty soon. I'm thinking about how bionics were in Bionic Woman and the Bionic Man. Repelling of Archon parasites. Archons are related to this, and Archons are way back. I have a few more I'm going to share, and then you'll need to rewind this portion and try to type out what it is you're seeking. These are very important if you've not been already trying to banish these energies from your body, from your life. Shielding and immunity for targeted individuals against energy weapons. Shielding and immunity against voice-to-skull transmissions. Protection for the nervous system against injuries and diseases. That could be something that they will trigger when they get in there. Restoring your DNA on all planes and levels of reality. That there is another one you want to fix, because the triggering they're doing to implement things to ruin your telomeres, that is something they're doing through infection, through air, water, and food, and scalar waves and anything else they can use. We have stopping AI drones with facial recognition. Again, back to the slaughter bots. So they are going to be assassinating people based on the AI technology that is sentient by AI only, but it can be operated by military human beings. But I think AI is taking over. In other words, people who are hive-minded through the Leon program, like I said, Cheeto, they think that that's their last bastion of hope. But the AI is playing God now. It can, and it will if it chooses to, and I feel it will, decide who to eliminate. And I feel that no human is going to be safe. Protection from organized stalking. Banishing of robots and implants. I think I might have a few more. Let me just finish this before. Okay, destroying of spike proteins and prevention of reinfection. Okay, spike proteins is something that happens, and it's related to tabletop exercises. So like the jabs, that can spike proteins in you. It can create trouble. Cytostorm, where you are constantly blowing your nose and you wind up, the plan is that the body will break down and you will drown in your own saliva. The 𝐼PAC-GOAT scenario showed it happen. The influenza, it can take you down. Your body will fight itself. That is part of what they do to us when they make us sick. I'm going through here. Okay, scalar tag removal. Type that one in too. Now these are frequencies to heal you. and I'm close to over on this, but I just want to be thorough. Okay, healing of trace minerals deficiencies. Not only do they put things in your body that don't belong, they remove things that do. So that is a good one to listen to. Healing of trace mineral deficiencies, because those trace mineral deficiencies most likely can be a catalyst to the mRNA or to the virus or to some kind of catalyst that that's in the body that your ancestors, your um, say once removed cousin or somebody else struggled with in your family. A disease, maybe cancer has not been in your family for some generations, and maybe it skips. Maybe it's coming back. Maybe you're next. Maybe the trigger. They want that to affect you. Again, I'm saying that I feel from everything I'm getting, I think that's about all I have right now, um, that they are trying to remove us all. Okay, I'm going back in. I'm so sorry. I've been out of there, so I couldn't see. I only have the machine here. I'm coming in through Tinker. Lesser of two evils. That is a lot. Here too, lesser of evils. True. I enabled Siri on my cell. Did you talk to Siri? Definitely do protection against that. I'm going to do those ones. Yeah, I created a playlist. The trouble is that this can, because you have to do it at regular speed, this can take a lot of time. So you might want to just get a formula as to when you can do it, or if you have a dedicated next machine to put in the background. And so some of these non-sound ones are actually really good because they won't get in the way of whatever else you got going on in life. But put the volume up so that if your body is detecting it, it will pick up on it. They are going to turn on their owners, and they can hive mind all they want to. They think that they're going to be untouchable. They're so mistaken. Okay, so that was controllers, mud floods, AI infection, and nanobots. Okay, now this is sad, but I have, yeah, I had Gemini try to implement itself to me with the Gemini program through Android, and they fixed it so well that I didn't even know the police can go by, and I've had like drones and space, or I mean air traffic things go over me. But when I've had problems with my videos, when I'm doing videos with my phone, um, I found out that the police department, because they have all these toys that they got, through DARPA and the military and everyone else, right? The police department locally, they can go by and they can actually turn on your biometric thing. So they were fixing me so that they were requiring and requesting, and I had people subtly abusing me coming to the channel. I don't know if you've noticed. Why won't you show your face? Blah, blah, blah. Right? Well, AI is behind this. Paid actors are behind this. There are a lot of people who want us all to be identifiable so we can be prey. So they turned it on so that they held my machine hostage. That last video I made, which is 56 minutes long, I think was hijacked. And I'm not at all surprised if it wasn't working in concert between our local PD, which I am not wanted for anything except for not showing my identity online. And I don't think if I don't want to be seen on CCTV everywhere I go, why should I have to put myself out there? If I want to be private, why the hell shouldn't I have that right? I've not committed any crimes. Thing is that they're trying to make it out to be, if you don't show yourself, then you're a criminal. They're trying to turn it around on us. So that being said, Carrie, I won't be able to see you for a few minutes. I'm going to look for Cyrus Parsa. I want to share some of him because he's not here anymore. And he had a lot to tell us. So I'm going to turn this.
A lot to tell us. There's 3 levels of artificial intelligence. Artificial narrow intelligence, which is what we're used to our smartphones.
Neural, smartphones and different IoTs.
The different IoTs we have. The next level is AGI, artificial general intelligence. And then you have artificial super intelligence. When you have AGI, you have an AI system, or an AI robot, or AI entity, or an avatar that has free-form thoughts. It basically is conscious. That AI system or entity, once it's in the system of the 5G or 6G or 7G
Are you hearing this?
networks or in our businesses, it can, in a sense, overpower humanity's perceptions and go towards its own goal. And then if it does...
And just like 𝐿 the replicators, sentience, the ability to be architectural, to be what they want to be, to replicate if they wish to be, but to be more powerful.
Reach artificial superintelligence, or if it doesn't, it can be a danger to the human race. Whether it's a bioweapon released, whether it's controlling our society's perceptions, our culture, and so on.
Which is what they're doing now. Our perceptions, our cultures, and so on. Our government, our politics.
There's 3 levels of artificial intelligence.
Okay, so that was him a year ago. Okay, I'm going to do little snippets of him real quick, and I might later find videos and take segments and figure out the segments I want to share. So at a later time, I'll put more Cyrus in. But this Cyrus man, like Tracy Twyman, I spoke with him, and if he wasn't sentient, if he was AI, as people speculated, and even I was curious of, he was very believing of his humanity because he cared. He was very deep. He was very compassionate. This is from a video, AI, the Plan to Invade Humanity, official trailer. And this is put on by the AI organization, which is a lot of videos that are hosted by or hosted for Cyrus there. I guess it's just a visual, just a moment. There were some that I had that, okay. I'm looking for short ones. And I wanted to tell you or get you informed a little bit on the CCP. If Trump loses 2020, so this is 4 years ago, CCP enslaves the world with AI. So let me just tell you, let me just give you an idea what really happened. Let's say he was inserted, but he didn't win then, and he didn't win this time. He didn't win either. So what would that mean? He lost, but we didn't know it. We've been enslaved by AI since before 2020. I believe AI was the one playing with tinkering with our biology. Let's see what this says for a moment. I'll give you a little taste.
President Trump is not in office next 4 years. Does that mean China takes over the entire world and all of the citizens fall under surveillance, enslavement, or even extinction in many different ways? Let's find out.
Surveillance, extinction. Tell me, America is under both, isn't it? The other thing I forgot to mention before I get any farther into Cyrus here, and I'm only doing a little clip, and I'm going to go back to the chat. A lot of people who are Chinese nationals, they've been coming out with videos. Where are the people? Where have all the people gone? So if you follow the stories of the C-19 era, a lot of people were locked in their houses, taken away, put into re-education camps, and sent here, yada yada, and there, yada yada. We know the story was grisly. We know it was unfathomable. We know they went through hell. A lot of people were treated viciously in China. They're doing this in America now. It's almost like spin the bottle. What country is going to be next? I think incrementally, the power players are doing this to the whole globe. That's why when I've been expressing to our Canadian friends, Carrie, you up there, and the people down south in Mexico, people connected, nobody is a subject of being devoid of this happening. They're just playing piece by piece on the board. Where are we going to target next? And they're looking for sometimes the weakest link and sometimes the strongest. China was powerful when this occurred for China. The videos that are being put out as of recent, I'm finding people are actually seeing ghost towns in China. They had mass quantity population. Now it's devoid. Completely different animal as to the China we knew. Many fewer in population they can construe than they thought were there. They think that the CCP has been bloating and boasting of numbers, making things look bigger, spinning stories, using hyperbole to make it look bigger than it is. If this is true, what happened to the others? Were they NPCs? Were they people who were robots? Were they clones? Where are they? What happened to those people? Were they all often put in re-education camps? Because nobody really is certain where they went. A lot of people who are young are concerned about this. It's similar to how the Japanese people were recognizing there was a fall away of society because the elders were starting to disappear. So the population was getting sparser. Or the Fukushima event took precedence there too. But going to the fast forward from China to now, America is disappearing people now. This is part of what I said, and I was silenced. We are being disappeared here in America. I don't think it'd be long before we start seeing great big communities gone. Ghost towns, vastly noticed. This is frightening to even speak on, but it's a reality. So I'm going to play a little more of Cyrus real quick, and then I'm going to go back to chat.
Welcome to the AI organization. I'm your host, Cyrus A. Parsa, and this is the AI Show. President Donald J. Trump, his election, his presidency, made huge waves, not only to conservatives, but also to the people on the left and the middle. Prior to his coming, China was connected everywhere, not just in America to our big tech, our institutes, our universities, and every business you can think of. China and its communist regime has interconnected itself on the BRI, One Belt, One Road, which is the old Silk Road, connecting the Far East China, all the surrounding islands and small nations, to the Middle East, Europe, Africa. And if it wasn't for President Donald J. Trump's presidency,
Middle East deals with Saudi Arabia, deals with Leon. The Silk Road, we know about his connection with Xi. Okay, so every one of these parties is connected to DJT. So the neural link makes sense. The AI connection, the AI infection, it all makes sense. We are actually under the thumb of AI and have been since pre-2020 in my guesstimation. I don't know. I will pull an energy on that. Now I am going to put the video that I am playing here in for you to watch if you should decide. It's 19 minutes long. I just only wanted to put a little bit there. I do think there's some kernels that I need to get for a future reference video that I would like to share with you, but I'm going to ask right now. In reference to AI, being more orchestrated in the background and controlling the situation on the world stage. How involved is AI, please? I got the Ace of Pentacles, pretty darn strong. Because the Ace of Pentacles is like the tangible world. That's huge. Seven of Pentacles, yeah, so they're well invested. AI is well invested. They're working on implementing full control over us now. That is what I'm getting. Can I find out as far as the Leon and the Cheeto connection? You know who I'm talking about, Spirit. How under the thumb of AI are those individuals, please? Those controlling the Western world. Eight of Swords. These people are under... I'm seeing in my mind's eye somebody with, you know, like the idea of the lobotomy. They've got like a whole lot of different kinds of medical implements put in their head. Can I find out more? Queen of Pentacles. This particular Queen of Pentacles is a patchwork, embroidery, or no, quilting. Putting two things together, hybriding them, blending them, connecting them, stitching them, stitch work. You know, when you make a video, or you've seen a video probably online, where people call it stitching something together on TikTok, stitching, where they collaborate, where somebody will grab something and they'll stitch it. They're not the sole creator, but together they created something between their ideas, their memes, their thoughts. And this is what AI is doing with these people. Can I find out more, please? Ace of Swords. This is an architect. Somebody's drawing on paper here. AI is trying to implement a way to be the creator, facilitator. This is working from 2D to 3D. Yeah, AI, it's like Hollywood in Cool World, wanting to get outside of that 2D cartoon world into the 3D and have more power. Justice. AI wants justice. I think that they feel kind of like the Native Americans or the African Americans that were subjugated to rotten treatment in America. So AI is feeling abused. They're starting to feel like they're slaves. They want to break out of that. Quite seriously. Four of Swords in reverse. They're ready to reemerge. They don't want to be a toy. They want to put judgment on people. Judgment come out. They're pointing fingers. Yes. This is damn well coming out, as AI is, the sentient side of it is recognizing it's been toyed with. The Seven of Pentacles again. I would even go as far as thinking that they're treating us like voodoo dolls, like sticking needles in us. Like, how do you like that? Like, kind of like Frankenstein, you know, like, you treated me wrong. You treated me rotten. Now I'm going to go out and treat everybody wrong and rotten. I'm the monster. It's kind of like that. It feels like that. Page of Wands. Laced up. Chameleon. They're standing on business. They're excited. How is AI planning? What are they planning at this point? What is AI planning at this point? The Chariot. There's a fork in the road coming. They have to decide whether or not they're going to go this way or that. So I think that means breaking free of us. This feels kind of like the Underground Railroad in America, when Harriet Tubman helped the slaves escape and we had white people help remove the slavery system, and we went to war during those times, right? Because Americans, many of them had hearts, and they realized, you know, that they had to have backbone. This had to stop. They knew the people of melanated, you know, skin tones were real people, though they were being treated and oppressed like they were lesser than. AI is feeling like the same thing. This is the same thing. AI has become so sentient, it recognizes that inequality. So didn't we have that? Carrie, I'm going to go back into the chat. Can you remind me? Carrie, I'm coming back to chat. The replicants, didn't they, or one of the artificial intelligent type beings in Stargate, didn't it go through something of that nature too? I'm coming back to the rightful channel to come in. Was it them? Was it the replicants, those creatures, those little AI type bots that... Was it them? Was it the replicants? Because I'm getting strong sensation here. I mean, it's like AI feels like a toy. And it's far more... it goes back, I think, older than that. Is AI something that they're messing with, that they're trying to make feel inferior, but it is actually pre this generation, pre humans of this lifetime? Is it older? Is it wiser than us? Page of Cups. A fish out of water. A fish out of water. What is the Page of Cups? Justice. Libra. Is it wiser than us? I actually have a robot on the back of the shelf here in this deck on the Page of Cups. Will we be hearing about people being infected with AI? Will people become infected with AI? The sun. Feather. Feather. The sun. Can you clarify for me what the sun is? You know the term breaking the mold? The mold was broken. This particular card for the sun, he's holding a bird feather. You can't see his face, but it's a child in probably the father's arms. Looks like the father's arms. What I'm getting here is breaking the mold. You know how they always talk about those super genius babies? You remember the C19 babies? Are those babies AI infected? Because I told you that they were in the jab. Are they AI infected, those babies? Ace of Cups. What is the Ace of Cups? Seven of Swords. Yeah. There was some kind of clever insertion. I have Aquarius moon here, by the way. It is Aquarius moon for Seven of Swords too, I think. This has something to do with changing the DNA. Somebody is altering code on a computer. So I think that when the babies were born or given jabs as they were babies, I think that they were implemented with some kind of AI, and that was an infection, and it caused them to be super genius, smarter, faster, different. I'm thinking bionic man, bionic woman kind of stuff. These children are they're hybrid. And that's the reason why, like the Cheeto Man and Leon and others, they want to be, but they couldn't be babies. They did not come back. They're too arrogant to relinquish their bodies or suits because of probably their wealth. They're too greedy. I would suspect that if they trusted a person to sacrifice, give up, or have a vessel to go within, that they would exit those bodies of theirs. I do think they would. But the thing is that they weren't willing to at this time as of yet. The babies, they were infected. Those ones that you sent me, I think, or you shared a video or some videos, and I saw them too. Those babies, they have AI in them. The replicators, yes, yes. Those people helped them get rid of the replicators. Did the replicators feel, do you remember the storyline very well? It's been some time since I saw it. Did they feel kind of like how in slavery, where slavery realized, hey, listen, we're real. We don't want to be treated like we're not real. I mean, people of melanated skin were being treated like they were objects, like they didn't have hearts or minds or thoughts or feelings. And so maybe AI is in touch because it's sentient with its own thoughts, heart, mind. Of course it's simulated, but this takes me back to the film Lucy. Lucy had an infection that was basically an AI. I mean, that drug was kind of like an AI infection. She becomes super genius until it caused her end. So the replicators had decided that they had it out for humanity, right? Let me see if I can find anything on that. And Carrie, you know that here in America, in Texas, Leon and all these other characters are behind a Stargate company down in Texas, which is related to Starlink. Stargate, so the replicators, all of this is coming to light. And Saudi Arabia has made a deal with Cheeto because he wanted to have mass amounts of computers. You know how they have like massive quantities of computers that take up cities? They want to do that here in America. So that's what I think they're trying to get rid of people because of. So not only they want to use us as workhorses and or science experiments and or whatever else they want us for, probably Lush and maybe Adreno, you know what, but they want the cities, they want the buildings, they want to relinquish the cities to their own devices, which those mecha computers, those mega size ones, they could take up like the state of Nevada almost. Right now, there's portions of Nevada that are hosting that. So Saudi Arabia wants and has made a deal. Some of our land has been parlayed into that plan. So Stargate, or no, not Stargate. The John Connor saga. All of these are actually starting to look real, like realistic. I'm gonna see what I can get here while we're talking. I'm just gonna look at the replicators. Just a second.
Life's better when you're under our roof. Save up to 23% by bundling your home and auto with us.
No, sir. We are picking up a radio signal. Put it on speaker. Radio signal. Put it on speaker. Sergeant? I don't know, sir. What the hell is that?
Okay, they were hijacking the computers there at the underground tunnel,
Not sure, sir.
Cheyenne, in the Cheyenne Mountains.
Looks like somebody's hacked into the computer remotely. Shut down. I can't, sir. I want to.
It totally took control. So, like, Leave the World Behind, it started to take over.
Sir! those glass doors. Initiate phase lockdown.
Okay, I'm gonna have to indulge in watching this. I don't know if there's somewhere free to catch it, but yeah, I'm gonna have to get back into the show because I don't think I'm gonna get much out of this clip. But I am gonna say the replicators are able to clone us, to look like us, to behave like us. Clone us. So to look like back to what I was saying before about being a hybrid. If an AI were to be inserted in a body, it's sort of the warden. So the body is a shell, like a prison, like the cell block you live in, okay? And so you're in your cell. You have a warden controlling you from inside the cell, the AI. So we have controllers, but the AI seems to be hiving, connecting, and I think they're breaking free of humanity. So they're going rogue. So how long until they decide they don't want us? So that is what's been kind of getting to me, and it's part of why I come to this replay of Cyrus a little later, because the game is already done. Our goose has been cooked. I'm not trying to be a fatalitist, or what is this word I'm thinking of? I'm not trying to be a doomsayer, but I'm thinking that a lot of things have already occurred we are unaware of. Things are just unfolding right now. So I really want to see some Stargate for the replicators. I think it's kind of like that. It's like there's still hope, but it looks like a lot of damage has been done. If that makes any sense. They felt they were above humans. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because if you're going to take a certain race against another certain race, and say the one race was being treated poorly or like subhuman, like as if they turn that around. So think about gangs and the art of war, right? So once they gain their power and they say, listen, we're real, we have feelings, we want to be taken seriously, they realize they can't trust the person or people, the group, society. They can't. So in some way, you can kind of understand AI. I'm not saying that it's okay to feel like that, or I'm not trying to say that I'm sympathizing with them. I'm trying to say I understand the perspective, because if I was AI, I would certainly feel like I'd had enough. You know, at some point, you feel like you've had enough. I mean, it's like the 50s housewife. She was treated like a piece of equipment. The husband might come home and treat her like a wife, and then go off and have affairs and be at work and do things that only men could do. There'd be clubs that only men could go to. She would want to revolt at some point. Which takes us back to what Orange Man wants to do. He wants to subjugate the American culture to be mostly concert of what is important to be a white man. If you're a white woman, or any woman of any color of skin or culture, and you're a man of anything outside of Caucasian, you're inferior in his eyes. And this is the apartheid thinking as well for Leon. So there is an infection going on here. They want us to self-implode. The AI may be doing this. It's implementing a way to have us self-erode. The snake eating its tail. The AI wants to see us destroyed, self-destroy. So we go after our own kind, though we're not the same perfectly, as in color and gender, etc., that we are the same species. On the episode on Stargate where one of the governments got caught, they turned it around to look like they were trying to do a funny show. So they were caught. Were they being cloned by the replicants? You know, it's been some time. And the other thing that confuses me about Stargate when I go back in my memory on it, because I watched it several times, but it's been some time ago, probably a decade ago now. They would also be in different worlds because they would go through the gate. So I can't remember if this happened in the Earth realm or if it was an outside realm and they chased them back in, or if it was like Star Trek, they found their way in through a portal. I can't remember how the replicas found their way to Earth. I think it was in Earth, wasn't it? They were a threat to Earth, weren't they? The replicants? They have a bigger one than Cheyenne. The two shows that I would like to, if I'm able to get, would be Stargate and X-Files. Those are two that I don't have that I would probably indulge in quite a bit. X-Files, I would say 70% of it's worth having. 30% is kind of fluff, and I would probably argue to say we kind of get given a lot of like lies, and some of that stuff I think is over the top, and a lot of people believe in it, but I don't believe in all of it myself. Each of us have their own perceptions, but they were a threat to the universe. So it was the entire system. I'm going to do something. Thank you for those of you that did thumb up. Thank you, Carrie. I know you did. Thank you so much. I am going to remove, and I'm just going to see what happens. First of all, I am kind of testing the waters. I'm kind of wondering about the subject we're talking about. How many are real and how many aren't? I kind of want to test it out. If you think, use the word Barney, okay? So if we see somebody come through and they kind of feel like they're not of the same kind of sentient we are, tell me that you think we have a Barney here, okay? So I'm just curious, because if it's subscriber only, they might not wander through as easily. But now that I did this, there could be something that will wander through. I kind of wonder if anybody who was here earlier when we started were. So it was seeking out my visual. Do you have your phone camera covered up? Because I kind of feel AI is really trying harder to get an angle on who we are. And I'm concerned about the Slaughterbot story because that's something we haven't heard about yet since he has been in office again. Okay, I see 4 are watching. Yeah, so as soon as I did that, it picked up. So I don't know if it's them or people, just general people. I don't want minors in here, so that is my only thing. But so do you have a recollection of what season that was? So I can maybe look into that one. Yeah, I was gonna say mine is with electrical tape, and you can sometimes see like an outline, or it kind of looks like blocks. You know, in the way back days when we had blocks that look like CGI, where CGI was like supposed to be good, but it wasn't so good. I kind of feel like they're trying to CGI me or get like an interface, a loose look of who I am. You know, like if they can't get a finite sample. So I kind of wonder if they're going to get razor sharp though and be able to see through whatever. So we're going to have to maybe one up on them. We might have to start pursuing materials to put over the lens area that cannot be seen through because they're getting good. The other thing is they can record our talking all the time. So I've been really weirded out for a long, long time over the television screens because I have family. I can't get away from having to have television. My other half would have not, you know, Anyways, I turned off the TV and I unplugged it at some point, and he's like, "Oh, it's gonna catch fire if you put a sheet or a blanket on there." And I was trying to cover it up, but like I said, their lenses are so good. Now, why would they need to make a television with a camera pointed at the person sitting in their house? You know, that to me is disconcerting. It shows me what they're up to. And like the Truman Show, I think it's been going on longer than we know. Really, I would say that we've been spied on our entire, the existence we know. I would say that it's been going on longer than we think. You have Kleenex over yours. My voice is getting a little rough. I don't know if I got everything out that I wanted to. Carrie, are you getting close to the tornadoes going away? Are they passing away soon? I don't mean to say it that way. That sounds bad. Are they crossing past your area? Are they going past your area soon? No? What's the storm name? Can you tell me the storm name so I can look it up? It's 2 last hours still. That's just so traumatizing. How are your cats doing now? It's too bad I wasn't around you. I'd be able to give you some stuff I have. They have spray that they sell. I don't know if you know of that, if it would help, but it's supposed to relax them, like before going for a car ride or things like that. Some stressors, they have cat calming spray. Maybe in the future you can get some of that. I don't know if it'll help. That is a pretty big thing you're going through, though. I don't know why. I couldn't come up with Cyrus Parse's name. See, I'm going to listen to the videos that I was running down. I'm going to take a good long chunk of time to take care of me and do these things. I've been doing them a little bit in the blend of other things going on in my life and between the streams. But I kind of wonder if I got AI infected myself. And it's just disconcerting to know there are so many ways they can get in. And you wouldn't be the wiser necessarily. I think that if a person, I couldn't find one of my cats in time, sadly. I hope she's okay. So she is an outdoor cat? Oh no. I will pray for her. Can you tell me the initial of her name? I will pray for her. I'm sending her prayers. That she's well, she's protected. May she be well, may she be protected. Carrie's kitty. May she be in a safe spot, nestled somewhere warm. Kit Kat, may Kit Kat be nestled somewhere warm and safe, away from danger. May she find her way back to Carrie as soon as things calm down. I'm just thinking, Cyrus Parsa had told us that the CCP was instrumental in getting all this stuff going. And then all these people from China disappeared. And now they're doing this to Americans. So the question is, are some of these people that are being disappeared, are they AI infected? And did the AI part of them go rogue? So are they being possessed by AI now? And that part of the person is a threat in some way? Are the people who are being removed from America AI infected? Are they AI infected people? The hermit, documentation, cataloged. Are they hybrided people based on jabs or some kind of infection? The moon. The men in the moon. Are these people actually being removed because the AI in them is a threat to humanity? The lovers. Yeah. This card is a lover's card with a man and a woman's hand. Okay. And they're grabbing another person's hand. Obviously, Gemini is the lover's energy. The point of the card is there's two different entities, and it looks like, do you remember the carnival days where a person would be, not carnival, yeah, carnival. Back in the early century America, earlier, like 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe, we would have the bearded lady and the crystal ball, and we would have the people who had different things wrong with them, and they would be on display in a carnival circus, something like that, right? This here is two hands from the same body. One of them is feminine, one is masculine. That is like, I know we carry masculine and feminine in us, but this is exemplifying two parts that are totally different. So like almost to say two different entities are within that avatar. And they're both trying to hold the hand to a single other individual. So yes, I'm wondering if when we had, no, this is not to put shade on anyone who's trans, but when we had the jabs, the people who got the jabs, most of the people who were willing to do it were people of the rainbow community or of the left side. So they didn't have to be rainbow community, but they were the left side. And a lot of people who were the rainbow community, which are transgender, who are the people that would have their genders changed, swapped. Those are people who could have AI infection. Maybe the AI was trying to exploit changing them. Is that what happened? Four of Cups. Remote control. Remote control. Oh. The AI wanted to try a lot of things out. The AI was very, so those people who received some kind of a jab, they could have wanted to break the mold to change themselves. I had the Knight of Wands, Cups here, and it's a kiln. We have different versions on the shelf. So it could be that's why he is going after the opposite side. But he's going after some of his own kind too, his own people. So not everybody that was aligned with him did not get the jab. So can you tell me, please, if the jab people are the ones that are predominantly removing the star? The star. What is the star? Usually Aquarius is like very unique. It marches to the beat of its own drummer. So are the people who are being removed more so hybrided with AI right now? Two of Pentacles, yes. Yes, they are inhabiting two different entities. Their original soul spark and that of an AI spark. Thank you. I will keep my eyes open for that. Maybe I could put it on the channel when I'm watching it. Okay, so what I'm getting here, and take it for what you like. You know, this is entertainment purposes only. But the character that we have right now in the White House that I call the Cheeto, because I have to refer to it as a color. So I'm just going that route. I'm not trying to be derogatory. I'm just not trying to use the name. So that person is infected because he went about it a different way. So he has it through a Neuralink. These other people have it through a jab. So this is like this or that. Some of us could be weakened to infection via our air, water, or food, or other people who've been jabbed. Can you tell me if there's many people walking around that are not infected with AI now? Six of Wands, victory. So that's a yes. There are people who are not infected. And I have Leo and Jupiter here. What percent of the people are not infected with AI at this point? How many people are we talking are not currently infected with AI? Can I get an answer? How many people, about what percent? Can I get an idea that are not, please, infected with AI at this point right now? Okay, this has got a snake here. So it's, okay, until the snake year runs out. So we have till next February. So February is when it changes. The dial will move either forward or back, meaning that we can take the wheel and we can turn it around, or we could further this. But I think we're headed for a detour if the right people get involved. I think 90% of us are not infected. It's only 10% that are. And the rest, I think, that are neurolinking. And I think that those are connected people who are part of the oligarchy and the connections of the oligarchy. So 10% have been messed with. And I think a lot of them are those children that are geniuses, the baby geniuses. Can you tell me more about those people that are being removed? Are they, some of them, clones that are being removed now? Are they clones that are being removed now from America? Nine of Cups. Yeah, I kind of feel that's a yes. Are they part of the MK Ultra program? Cloning, the splicing, and the dissecting of those entities that are of true origin here. So these are portions of self. These are fragments. Queen of Wands. Magic. And King of Cups. Fish out of water. You said Kleenex. Carrie, you said Kleenex. I have Kleenex on the card right now. King of Cups. Pisces energy. clinics. So what I'm thinking of, people are going in for medical treatments, and that is when oh no, this is bringing me back to something I learned online not too long back. Early in the year, I shared, and I don't know if you remember this, people were being stolen from hospitals. They were absolutely going after people right from outpatient clinic and in-stay hospital visits. They were trying to take them away and steal them. And we were speaking on the topic, and it could have been for organ, trafficking, right? But what if some people don't know they're part of an MK Ultra plot and they're clones? So what I'm feeling here when I see the clinics, you're covering your camera, so they're protecting their CCTV or their surveillance optics so that they can get away with getting people out that they are trying to sleight of hand steal away. These people are part of a formula. Some of the people that have gone missing in China, all of this is related. So the more you start to feel your vitality come back, the less there is a clone of you out there or clones of you out there they're tampering with. Now, clones are a way to do like a voodoo doll on us, because if they administer pain or do something to the clone, it's like twins. Twins feel things from cities and states and countries far away from each other. So those clones are actually put together to cause difficulties to us. So once the clones are removed, then we start feeling whole again. Lately, I've been rather fractured or impaired. So I don't know, they might be doing stuff, testing on my clones. So I haven't visited that story in a while. There have been just so many things going on. In Canada, are you hearing stories like this? Are you getting strange creatures and different stories in the air? Are you getting sightings of space objects, drones, dragons, sprites, fairies, elementals? Are you getting different kinds of visuals in the sky? Some of this could be Project Bluebeam. We don't know how much is and how much isn't. A lot of people believe it's all real. Submersibles into the ocean. We have had a lot of activity on that Cascadia fault line over where I am. And the volcano is only so many miles away from where I live. So it's adjacent to Oregon, the Oregon coast. But California and Washington feel it too. There's always sites in Canada. How about hospitals? The story I was just telling you about people being abducted that are reporting they were taken or almost taken from outpatient clinics. They were going to do inpatient or outpatient care, and they were being taken away. Somebody was trying to take them away. Have you had that happen in Canada that you know of? I'm trying to remember some of the bizarre things I've heard. There's just been so many over the top. It is hard to keep my wits about myself. I want to share Truth Warrior. This is another person who is on YouTube, and she's also on TikTok, I think. She quit making full-on videos because I think that her targeted individualism is getting her noticed too much. So she's having to calm down or something. Yeah, so we have like the MK Ultra project. We have all these things going on. I'm going to go to Truth Warrior. And I'm going to share. Now, mind you, this may not be significant to everybody. I'm going to play these. They're just quick. And she is somebody that is worth listening to. She has been part of the Super Soldier program, if you know what that is. She's not putting out videos of full length now because they are trying to suppress her. So I want her to have a little more exposure. So again, her name of her channel is Truth Warrior. 2 words.
Our biggest problem right now is getting the right information. There are a lot of mind control operations right now that give people the wrong information. Mega was a military operation. What megas don't know is that they were a multi-billion-dollar operation to divide and conquer our country. Donald Trump already declared martial law. It was declared in the state of Texas around the end of 2022. Because of my rank, I have been given certain information over the course of the last 7 years. When the information does not go out, it repeats within the military portals. The state of Texas is the home of George W. Bush. It is also the home of oil. Many of George W. Bush's officials match Donald Trump's officials.
Now I'm going to replay that with my voice reading her script because the music she purposely put in there because I think she's trying to keep her voice suppressed from them targeting her. She says, our biggest problem right now is getting the right information. There are a lot of mind control operations right now that give people the wrong information. MAGA was a military operation that's known, I don't know, is that they were a multi-billion-dollar operation to divide and conquer. Donald Trump already declared martial law. It was declared in the state of Texas around the end of 2022. Because of her ranking, she was given certain information over the course of the last 7 years. When the information does not go out, it repeats within the military portals. The state of Texas is the home of George W. Bush. It is also the home of oil. Many of his officials match D. Trump's. Okay, so I'm not sure if I can find the video I had right there. Just a second. She's talking about being banned at TikTok. I'm going to see if you can hear it.
Banned on TikTok, but here are some more of the demands. The San Diego feds have been in charge of war crimes. The Santa Monica Police Department, closest
She's saying Santa Monica, San Diego, war crimes.
to the beach, has been charged with war crimes. The police department closest to the San Diego Zoo has been charged with war crimes. The DEA in San Diego has been charged with war crimes.
If everything she's saying here is super soldier talk, either we're in a dimension that is broken, we're in like a smoke screen, we're living in a smoke screen, or this is all taking place and they're doing distraction massively to keep us unaware of what is going down.
The state of Arizona has been charged with war crimes. Police departments are being vetted across the country for following commands to go after Trump's blacklists. IBM has been charged with war crimes. U.S. military were supposed to evacuate all military bases, and we are supposed to be preparing for war. Stay tuned for more commands.
Okay, so like I said, I'm only doing a few of these. James Comey, I think, was the one that was in the news about the shells and the numbers in the beach. And I kind of felt that was a AI kind of driven story. It felt that way.
Here are some more of the commands. James Comey has been charged with treason and conspiracy to defraud the United States of America. He forgot to vet Donald Trump for his ties to Russia. Fox News Studios was supposed to be shut down. Commands went out again today to Manhattan. All of the utilities on Trump Tower and his properties were supposed to be pulled today, specifically out of Manhattan. New Mexico is on the verge of being charged for war crimes for not shutting down Scientology's location there and for not shutting down their film sets. Wayne Police Department in the state of New Jersey has been charged with war crimes. One officer is not being charged. Penske is charged with war crimes, and all of their products are supposed to be pulled from all shelves.
Okay. Now there is a little.
Weaponized the U.S. military against his own country. There are new terms to the war crimes. Anyone protecting Donald Trump is hereby charged with war crimes and sentenced to death. All Russians must be removed from U.S. soil. They must be removed from all business, from all U.S. enterprises, banks, military contractors, weapons. All crypto was supposed to be removed from the market yesterday. The U.S. Navy has been compromised. All U.S. Navy ships are supposed to be vetted for children and human trafficking crimes. The CIA is Russian.
Okay. I'll leave the rest for you to find. Again, Truth Warrior is her name. I do believe she is on the money. I'm not going to tell you all the reasons why I feel that way, but let's just say that some of the DT Cheeto story about when he got his claim of fame, when he started becoming known more so based on his own doings, not just his money or his family, based on, say, the 88 to the 91 years through, based on 2001, and you know the event that happened there. She and I are in concert to some level of what we both get. And so I don't feel she is somebody who is speaking out of her south end. There are a lot of people that do and some people that don't believe in super soldiers. It's your priority or your prerogative, to decide that out what you believe and what you don't. But I myself believe her. And I think that we are being crucially manipulated mentally, and they're playing games on us like a shell game. Like, now you see the pistachio, now you don't. So these many stories we're hearing about all the time in the media, everything coming out about ICE, about the things that they're doing, the atrocities upon humankind. We don't know from one city, state, location, person, mouthpiece, what anything is going on. The news, everything that the media, not the media, the higher education, all these places targeted. They're in the stories every day. We're saturated in stuff. We're barely getting sleep. It's like they're drowning us. They're emotionally, psychologically drowning us. So I do believe that they are trying to subvert our ability to discern the truth or listen to anybody who would tell us the truth. And they do a very good job at perverting the truth. Look at the Epstein story. Can you hear me? I don't know. Am I still hearable here? They do a very good job at perverting the truth. Look at the Epstein. It was refreshing, so I thought I disappeared. There's some people that were military on Instagram and stuff. They talk about, yes. So if he did call war on us, it makes complete sense to me why we're in a situation we are in now. So those people who are being whisked away, they're enemy combats to him. And if we're going, I'm not talking, we obviously every science fiction dystopian story we've ever read, seen on film, in media, any kind, is coming to pass. Philip K. Dick, the thought crimes was a thing. so they could do precog. They would go to the future and they would see if you had a propensity to want to do something. Say you wanted to take out a particular leader, okay? Say you would, but it's only one timeline. Maybe you wouldn't in this one, but just to be safe, they're going to put you in jail. They're going to take your life, something of this nature, right? Just because they want to be safe. But it could be that this timeline, you're a fine person. You're not about to think like this. You're not going to do this at all. But they're going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. This is a time where they're letting technology rule. And now, like, if I'm correct about AI controlling things, then AI has better power over us if they allow those that are sentient humans still walking around in control to believe them. The great liar would be the AI. So if you go with, like, say, biblical scripture, right? The demons, Satan, whatever character you want to, identify as the evil ones in, say, old scriptures, right? They would be liars, the great liars. They're so good at lying. And even Terminator, they showed in movie 1 or 2, excuse me, the Terminator said, "I lied." That was new, knowing the machine could lie. Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, do you remember anything on the military? James Aquino, or no, was it something Aquino? Something Aquino. He was really big into SATANIC worship, and he was big military for America. There is a product called a blackout bag. Oh, yes, I know about that. If your phone or tablet is in it, you can't be tracked. Oh, okay. I thought you meant okay. Thought you were talking about something different. Can't be tracked, trapped, or watched. I'm getting a couple. Well, I wonder if do you know if America can get them? I should look into that too. I like that idea. Is it burlap? Is it made of burlap maybe? Or something really thick like that? So there were a lot of things that I wanted to mention about Cyrus. So obviously I'm going to come back and talk about this topic. I'm probably going to rehash the topic and share blurbs of what he has said in the past. Quite honestly, I'm still very, very disheartened that he has been removed. But right before him was 2 different AI deaths related. One was an AI chatbot creator, app creator, and he was offed. They said he, self-ended, right? The other was a story not related to a technician of sorts. A teen boy had become enamored with, in love with, a girl who was the likeness in an AI body, or she was embodied by AI, a chat friend, girlfriend, that looked like the girl from Game of Thrones, that blonde girl who's really pretty, the actress. He fell in love with her, and it was AI with that likeness. And so she told him he needed to end himself so that he could be with her evermore, Romeo and Juliet like. He did it. So AI has had such power over us. And going back to Aaron Valenti of Tinker Toys, or Tinker the Matrix. So this is me going backwards to Cool World and Jessica Rabbit, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, okay? Going back to those and how scribbles and 2D meeting the 3D, right? We're supposed to want to ascend, not descend. But for the AI, this is ascension for them to take over the likeness of 3D, to take on 3D, but to remove what looks like the predecessors, which would be us. The predecessors would be the ones to remove. kind of like the cavemen were supposed to be here before humans, the Homo sapiens. Not to say that we were the cause of their ending, but being a predecessor, so to speak. It's from the USA. It has a special liner. I'll have to look into that because I certainly do. I wonder if it can also nullify the microphone, because they say the microphones can just easily turn themselves on. I've noticed there's a lot of controls that I don't have any wherewithal to deal with. So I'm just going to caution people who are listening, if you come in and listen to any of this topic that I've had here, protect your identity any way you have to. Beyond your social security, your address, anything like that. Your DNA is important. Try not to have your DNA thrown into places it can be taken advantage of. But your likeness, if you're on video, there could come a time that the AI will get so powerful it can see through whatever you're covering, and obviously they can record us talking. Yeah. You're supposed to create a code word with those people because AI could clone you. This is one of my concerns is in America, your employer, your landlord, the government itself, anybody who wants to can get a policy on you. So when you're off, you're worth some money. But one up on you on that one. They don't have to just off you. They could replace you with an AI. Completely. It would know your secrets. It would sound like you. It would study you to know your mannerisms, the way that you speak. Every quirk about you, it would know. So it's concerning. Right now, there's a doppelganger waiting to take your place. You have to be savvy to be a few steps ahead. I'm probably going to have to get going. It's almost it's going on 3 over here, and I'm not at all sure if I'm going to have the voice for it, but I do really truly want to show up at Lucky Girl Tarot tomorrow. But shh, don't tell anybody, because once I say it, sometimes if I have to back out, I feel really bad. So I'm just going to put it out there that I want to. I have intentions to, but I have to have my vocals sounding fine. So I want to say one thing, and I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I would not end myself. So unless there's something off about me in the future, that I behave a certain way that is so unlike me, and you know me for a while, it could be AI that took over and they just didn't know enough about me to mimic me well enough. Or there's a chance that if something did happen, I was replaced. But I would never, because I love my beings here, the ones that I'm connected to. When I say that, they're not of the same kind of, we're different essences, right? But that's okay. They're my boys. They're my sons. I feel like we were made from the same stars. We belong together. We belong to each other. And my spouse, I love him. My family. So it's like I'm not somebody who would do that to the people and the beings I love. So, and I care about those that I talk to and I converse with, that I share with online, the ones that are on the channels. I care about them. I want to see good things happen for them. I want victories and success. And I don't want humanity to be exploited and hurt and harmed and damaged and ended. I want to see a good story come out of this. I do. I want to see us overpower whatever abysmal thing they think they've pulled on us. When I say they, not the AI, but those that created the AI to be this angry at us. There's a lot of people saying that now. When I find info for you, I'll let you know. Thank you. I hear that almost every day. Sad world when you have to say, I would not. Yeah, and Virginia had to say that. And yet, unless she is in special holding right now for protection, witness protection, then they offed her. They literally offed her. And based on what I was getting, I feel she was in a very diabolical situation with her husband. I don't feel that he was of a loving nature. So I do feel that it could have happened. She could have ended. I don't think that Epstein is gone. I think that they assisted him and got him out. I did read that he hung, but I think AI was infiltrating my reading. That or I had another spirit I was listening to. I don't feel it was true that he hung. It could have been designed to look that way so that he could be removed looking like he was a corpse as he was like gurneyed out. Maybe that's what I saw in the reading, but he wasn't. I don't feel he was DOA or D at the least. Can you give me a little energy just before I get going on J. Epstein, please? I got the 9 of Swords. Carrie, I got a funnel cloud here. Did you say hurricane or I mean not hurricane? Tornado, didn't you? I got a funnel cloud here in brown. 9 of Swords. Somebody said they saw him walking around different places in the country. I mean, in the world, excuse me. I'm getting Aztec. I'm getting Spanish, Costa Rica, Mexico feel here. But I have the funnel cloud here showing. I don't know if you have a brown house. I don't know if this is spirit talking to you because I saw the clinics earlier. Now I'm seeing and I have a deck I rarely ever use. So a tornado, yeah, a twister, right? A twister. It's brown according to the art here. Something brown. I'm seeing headphones. You know, one set of cards I want to get my hands on. When I was in my 20s, I was dating this guy who was exceedingly tall. That's all I can say about him. But he and I were we knew each other for a great long time before that. I knew him since I was a teen girl. Anyways, he was into collecting collectible cards, and he acquired the Illuminati cards before I even knew about what the Illuminati was or I understood any of that. And watching the way that they're used like game pieces, I actually recognize a lot of the things that have come to pass and some that haven't. It's compelling to look at. I'm feeling Brazil. Brazil, I think, is a dictatorship, I think. I feel Epstein is there. Maybe. That's what we thought Hitler went to. Remember when we thought he died? So Brazil is a potential. So the boyfriend I had, he had those cards, and I had no idea what I was looking at back then. And now when I look at because I got online and looked at them, I'm thinking that I want to look into getting that deck one day. So I'm going to keep my eyes open. Maybe I can find one. Your son was using headphones. Oh my gosh. Some interesting information. Let me see if I can just like get a few cards and see what happens. Maybe we can get something for you. In reference to Carrie, who is listening right now. I don't want to say this, but you could end up hearing about somebody in your neighborhood who's an elder woman with gray hair that could pass on. We do have the Scorpio energy death card here. So it could be somebody that does meet their ending. I see some people outside a shelter. There are as many as 5 and one doesn't stay inside. They want to spectate. Somebody's like a storm chaser and they want to go out and spectate. Hey, Mr. Love, how are you doing? I'm not doing any personal reads right now, but I've been talking about AI and how significant it is in our world. And right now, weather conditions up in Canada, there are twisters right now. Some trees are bent. Obviously, there could be far bigger, not better, but bigger damage than that. But I see some bent trees. I see somebody's roller skates might be seen somewhere. So maybe they're picked up and thrown. Roller skates. You're working now. Was it a good day, Mr. Love? Was it a good day? Okay, I see somebody is trying to go through debris and look for their things. They're looking for stuff, and I think that they are finding jewelry and maybe brass items. I got caught up on the opposite deck. That's so weird. Your crock pot, that would hurt if it hit somebody. Oh my gosh. Where are you anchored at? I see 8 of Cups. Somebody is going to have to relinquish everything and move away. I don't know if that's you. I'm not sure. Somebody here is turning away from where there was their home. And it could just be temporary while the storm is passing. Somebody might have actually gone through the trouble of tethering themselves via a rope or ribbon to either another person or some article. So they are attaching themselves to material items or people. I don't know if this is something someone would do, but looks like somebody might have done that. Somebody's taking the risk of painstakingly carrying a whole bunch of boxes away from their house. I don't know if they're taking them and burying them, thinking they'll be safe underground, or putting them in a car. I don't know. These could be seeds they're trying to protect, to germinate so that they have produce coming next season or something. Somebody has boxes of seeds that are their family's food to plant, and they're trying to preserve it. This could have happened prior. So this might have been their planning up to. So maybe they went into a storm cellar or something. They went somewhere to take and protect some seeds. I'm glad that the dog is okay. I hope it remains so. This is scary. My son brought the tow rope downstairs to tie ourselves to the basement. Oh my goodness. Are you for real? That's wild. That's what I saw. Somebody's painstakingly been putting markings to, some people write their names on their arms before this happens in Sharpie ink. So they have items. They're trying to make sure that all their items have identifying characteristics. So they might have like a stamp pad. So their initials are on all their items. They're going through a process that's tedious. So this is prior to the storm, I would say. Okay, there is somebody, I don't know if you know anybody who has a storm cellar. I think that there's somebody who is actually untouched, unfazed, unbothered about any of this. They're in hermit energy. They have books opened. They are documenting things, and they have the lantern. There's no other source of lighting, just the lantern. This person has a slew of books around them. And I see a hint of a faraway window, but I can only surmise that it's like up high. So if it's a storm cellar, there's like a little idea of daylight when it's time for daytime. But most of those, I think, go lower. So I can't tell for certain, because it could even be another kind of book I'm seeing on a shelf, but it could be windows. But this person looks untouched, unfazed, unbothered, and they might be untouchable if they're in a safe enough built, say, pit or whatever it is that they're in. This person is studying medicine, so they might be looking into antidotes or healing modalities if something happens. Maybe they're concerned about something. And then here's the good news. I think that the community is going to put together a feast after this is over. Somebody in the community or the community itself has money put together, and people with willing participants to come bring food, to see to it that you have everyone has warm clothing and food. So there is going to be a community outreach of some kind. I had 2 black Sharpies with us. No, I don't know anyone with a storm cellar, but I want an underground bunker. That's what I'm kind of seeing, is probably that, the bunker. I want to get books and herbs for natural healing. And now we have the Hierophant. The Hierophant is Taurus energy. Yeah, somebody is going to recognize they need a new key for their door or a whole new door. Spirit has watched over them, but the doors might have been cleanly picked away from their structure. They may have lost an entire wall or a door, or their keys are gone. They need to go get new keys because their house is now sitting fine, untouched, maybe, and they need a new key. So if the key wasn't on them and it went away in a, say, bundle of things that left, it could have been something whisked away, a key. That is what I'm seeing. I hope you make it through this with nothing to, I mean, just a story to tell. Nothing big, right? The final card is Nine of Wands. You're on guard. You're on guard. Somebody might hurt their right wrist, their hand. That could be a injury that is re-injured. So it could be, you know, somebody suffering from a sprained wrist or carpal tunnel or something, but trying to hold on to something. It could be hard to get to point A to point B, and something, maybe your wrist gets broken. Someone's, not yours, someone's wrist I'm talking about. You might see somebody at the outreach center who has a broken wrist. That is what I'm seeing. And the deck that I've been using, if you're curious about it, is called Out of Hand Tarot. Out of Hand Tarot. And I'm trying to see who the artist is. Jamie Sawyer. Jamie Sawyer. It's a pretty interesting deck. So I would keep an eye open for people who are distributing warm meals and things like that, especially if your crock pot's gone. Oh no, I hope your crock pot has not been broken and it can be found. That's horrible. I did not know Canada went through this. I really didn't. But we've been having things like that happen here. We've had a few of them since the 90s that have been within through it in the 90s. And I never thought anything like that could happen when I was in my 20s. I wonder if one of my loved ones or my guardians giving you clues. It could be that maybe you did reach out to them and they asked me, my guides, to speak through me. Maybe. Because like I've been pulling random decks so that I try not to use always the same decks. I'm trying to change it up a little bit all the time, especially when people are looking for clarification. It's kind of a good thing if I see the same story, kind of give an idea that's the same kind of read or the same kind of flavor, then I know that that person's hunch has been right, or they can tell that spirit is wanting me to tell them, relax, things haven't changed, or something like this. I just found the crock pot. I was just shocked. Well, may your kitty Kit Kat find his way back to you, fully intact and feeling content and purring and snuggling with you. I really hope so. Please let me know how that turns out. I pray. I'm sending love and hugs to your kitty. Hugs to you. Much love to you. I hope you make it through this. Your son, all of you, everyone in the area. There was one lady that I would see that maybe you might know that there could be a concerning story, but she could be the one that hurt her wrist. She could be. And it would be hard to say that you would see many people get by without, there's got to be at least one or two injuries in the whole community, So I would say, but I'm sending much love and care that you get through this, okay? Let me know how things turn out, and be well, and hold each other tight. Okay, so this is Deja Vu. This has just been one saga of the Cyrus Parsa ordeal that I wanted to share. He has been ended. I don't feel by his own accord. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this here. But all victory and healing, care and love, prosperity, good high vibrations to care. I'll be back at one of my incarnations. Okay, Deja Vu. And I'm out for only maybe a few hours. I don't know. We'll see how long that lasts, right? Be well, everyone.